Okay, so let's start because I like to start on time and end on time again. I know some folks are hopping on. I just want to let everybody know that this webinar is going to only focus on the Sustainable Development Planning Grant. And tomorrow's webinar at 12 o'clock will focus on answering questions on our other grants, Social Innovation, Project Atlas, Food Security, Freedom Schools. I think that's it. So those four will be tomorrow, and today's just the Sustainable Development Planning Grant. So let's begin. So this is getting recorded, and let me share my screen real quick. I also want to share right out there. All right. So I'm going to do a quick run through about on the Office of Faith-Based Initiative website. So if you just go to your browser and insert OFBI and click enter, then we'll pop up. We'll pop up. I had to make that happen with our IT guys and women. And so this is our landing page. And if you want to access our granting opportunities, you click granting opportunities. I'm just going to quickly go through this. So if you want to download the most current grant, you got to come on here because there have been some changes to the Sustainable Development Planning Grant, and it'll be footnoted on the bottom with the most current date. And I'll share that with you in a few seconds. This is the link for tomorrow's webinar at 12 o'clock, which will focus on social innovation, special projects, Freedom School, and Project Atlas. These are your supporting documents. So for sustainable development, it'll be the Sustainable Development Plan template, the Sustainable Development Readiness Assessment, and you're going to have to upload a logic model. So you'll have to upload this logic model. And we have a webinar on how to complete the logic model. The Division of Consumer Affairs, there are some documents that you need to have in order to be funded if you're awarded, and you need, if your organization's income for 2024, is it 2024? Yeah, for 2024 was $9,999 and less, you don't need to register for a charity registration number. If your income for your organization in 2024 was $10,000 and higher, you'll have to register for a charitable registration number. So this area here will show you how to get to the DCA portal, where you would, if you've never created an account, you'd create an account. If you want to see what your current status is, you would click Directory of Registered Charities, where you would put in your organizational name. Let me go there just in case. You would put in your organizational name. Let's say it's Mount Olive, and you would put it here, and then you would enter. And if it comes up with the signed compliant, you're good to go. If it comes up with, well, most of these are compliant, so that's pretty darn good. If it comes up red and it says non-compliant, then you need to access the portal. And if you have an account, sign in. And then when you sign in as an organization, it will show you what you need to do, what information you need to upload in order to become compliant. But we have a webinar on how to work on how you need to navigate that. Then this is the IRS charity search. Some organizations have a hard time finding their 501c3 IRS determination letter. So if you click on this link, it'll take you to the tax-exempt organizational search. You'll click tax-exempt organizational search tool, and then search for tax-exempt organization, which you'd be searching for yourself. You'd keep this as search all. You put in your organization FEIN number. You leave FEIN number, you put your organization's FEIN number, EIN number here. you put in the city, you put in New Jersey. Let me see. And United States, and then you click search, and then another window will pop up where you can download your FEIN, your 501c3 determination letter. I know on the grant guidelines, it says to upload your most current 2024 IRS determination letter. I don't know why that was in there. It was a typo, definitely on my end. You just need your whatever 501c3 IRS determination letter you have, either from this site or from the one that you have on file. You can upload that, because what we're going to do internally is some of the IRS determination letters are under the revoke status. So when you do this search, you can see whether you're under the revoke status because you didn't upload your 990s in a timely fashion. That's probably the main reason why a lot of 501c3s are moved to the revoke status. And then it'll tell you what you need to do in order to become compliant. All right. If you scroll up and there's a webinar bar here, there's a navigation bar, you click webinars and it'll be, so if you've never applied for a grant through the Department of State, never, ever, or you don't know if you did, so you need to register. First time applying for a grant in Blue Sage, you need to do that. Then when you get authorization to the grant, to the platform, our online platform is called Sage. There are 5 documents that you need to upload. Again, right? If your organization's income is $10,000 or higher, you need to put in a charity registration number, proof that that number is valid, a division of revenue number, and a business certificate that you need to upload. You need to upload your 501c3 determination letter. You need to upload your certificate of incorporation, and you need to upload your certificate of standing. So those are the 6 documents that you need to upload. This webinar here is an introduction to logic model. You need to use our logic model, and it's like a 15-minute intro on how to complete the logic model that we need submitted to as part of the application. All right, so let me go to the actual application. All right, so this is our actual application here. And so the application is due February 26th. And I'm just going to give a broad overview and then open it up for question and answer. So this grant is for faith-based led houses of worships that have property and have the ability to build on that property, right? They have control of the property. Houses of worship cannot apply for this grant as they may not have a secular 501c3. If they have a secular 501c3, then the entity that has the 501c3 can apply with the house of worship as a partner, because at the end of the day, it's the house of worship that has control of the property, unless there is an existing land lease deal or a transfer of ownership from the house of worship to its secular 501c3. If not, then the house of worship, if it doesn't have a secular 501c3, it needs to partner with an existing nonprofit, primarily an organization that has experience and a portfolio of creating affordable housing developments, whether that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, and some experience in the development space, right? So ineligible to apply are houses of worship, but they are eligible they have to be a partner of whomever is going to submit the application. This Sustainable Development Planning Grant is focusing solely on properties that are owned and underutilized by houses of worship. And then they need a partner, which would be a housing development corporation or a nonprofit that has experience in the development space. The grant is for a max of $15,000. And I'll go through what that means. And then I'll open it up for Q&A. Oh, let me see. There's one Q&A here. Okay. So as I explained, who is considered the lead agency in the application? There are two possible leads. A house of worship that have created a separately incorporated secular 501c3, or a house of worship that hasn't secured their secular 501c3 and partners with a housing development CDC or a nonprofit with identified sustainable development projects as part of its portfolio. The role of the Housing Development Corporation or nonprofit is to support the house of worship with the creation and submitting the application. In the case, the Housing CDC becomes the lead agency in partnership with the house of worship, right? The Sustainable Development Planning Grant is designed to support faith and community-based organizations that are interested in getting into the affordable development housing space. OFBI seeks to support organizations that have never developed any owned property. So if you're if you're a house of worship and you've got a pro forma and you've got architectural renderings and you've got a capital stack already in place, then this $1,500 does you no good. This funding is actually called catalytic investment for organizations that have that have site control of underutilized properties, but don't have the initial capital to at least start the process moving forward. And this is the investment that is going to begin that process for the organizations that are funded. The planning grant will assist the organization to fully think through its organizational capacity, its infrastructure, collaborating partners, and create a functioning development team. Now, I know that some organizations may have no clue of what a development team. So I need you to think through, hey, we need one of these five. We need a developer, a real estate attorney, an architect, a general contractor, and an accountant on your team. Now, a lot of them are going to say, well, do you have any money? And you're going to say, no, we don't have any money, but we need to submit a list of potential partners that will help us think through what this looks like for the reward down the road of gaining access to pre-development funding once we figure out this planning process that we need. Now, the purpose of the leadership team is to fully support the planning and prototyping and testing of the proposed project, right? All leadership team members must attend mandatory training technical assistance offered by the New Jersey Office of Faith-Based Initiatives and its partners. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are really going to apply. I'm not sure if this idea resonates with the population that we're trying to target, because now the proof is in the pudding. Folks have been saying there's no grants to help us start out. Well, here's a grant for $15,000 to help you start out. And then then now it's, you're not going to partner with the state of New Jersey and not have any deliverables, right? So it's not like we're just going to give you $15,000. There's certain deliverables that you need to meet. And so we're asking you to think through what this thing looks like on your end. The leadership team will be instrumental in attaining community feedback, because you need some feedback from the community. You need some feedback to get a sense of what they're looking for. The planning grant will assist the organization to create community awareness of the project. And also, the organization must assure that it currently has site control of the property that they plan to develop. So what does that mean? The house of worship needs to show that it has site control. There are no liens. There isn't anything on the property that says that it's owned by somebody else. And the lead agency can't state, if it's a nonprofit, that the house of worship land is under their control unless there's a transfer of ownership, unless there's a land lease deal in place. Other than that, the property is owned by the house of worship, and then we need to figure out, as one of the deliverables, how that works moving forward. All right. Applications are due February 26th at 4 p.m. And these are the criterias. I'm hoping that you guys read it, but I'm just going to skip to the real good parts. Like, for example, statement of collaboration in red. It says that we need a letter from the house of worship governance body on letterhead indicating that it approves moving forward with the project and they're ready to support the project financially when needed. We need that because nothing can happen without the governance of the house of worship saying they want to move forward because they own the property that's underutilized. And if you don't have that letter, by the time you submit, it's not gonna bode well for you in the peer review process. We want you to identify 6 collaborating partners, the 6 partners that I mentioned earlier, and we want you to indicate, what is it that they do, or what are they going to do to move this vision forward, right? And here's another red text: uploading appendices to sustainable development readiness, which is a document that is found on the grant page, and also upload the sustainable development planning template, which is really a template that's going to help you think through what this future vision of yours might look like. Then you got to do, SMART goals. Everything's explained there. Under the budget, you must provide a 20% cash or in-kind match for every line item the OFBI grant is being charged. For every line item, because we need you to have some skin in the game. Now, there are, under required appendices, there's board resolution, there's upload the 6 support letters, there's a logic model, and then you need to upload the Sustainable Development Readiness Assessment under appendices, as well as, see, that's a typo, the Sustainable Development Planning Template. You need to upload that under appendices. Now, these are the only approved expenditures that we will approve. Phase 1 environmental site assessment, $7,000. Zoning and land use feasibility review. I'll go over that in a few minutes. You don't, preliminary financial housing development pro forma and capital stack strategy. We are going to be working with Kean University School of Business to work with each grantee to think through and develop what that pro forma and capital stack strategy might look like for affordable housing. We will be working with pro bono, that will be working with you to provide the legal assistance, the real estate attorneys to work with you and your leadership team moving forward. So you don't have to pay for an attorney, and you don't have to pay for an organization to write your housing development pro forma. And there's another one here. Okay, and then there is community engagement and outreach. You can spend up to $4,000 on that. You want to have a location, you want to provide a little bit of meals so they can eat and have a conversation. You want to have somebody to record this and dictate this and pull out some data from it. And then there is capacity building, governance development, staff development of $4,000, because the assumption is that many of you are starting from ground zero, and there is a level of capacity building, staff development, and governance development that needs to be in place so that this project 4 years from now can actually materialize. Then there is architectural renderings, Kean School of Architecture. That's an in-kind cost. Their graduate students will work with you in the following 4 years to develop your initial renderings, and then by year 3 or year 4, your final renderings that can actually be used by a developer to put a shovel in the ground and go vertical. Any type of consultant services that you think you need, you're gonna have to come out of pocket, and that's an in-kind cost from the organization. So the max is $15,000. And I know that you see that there is no expenditures for personnel, because you don't need personnel right now. You don't need personnel. This is a pilot project, and the assumption is that you need all this other money to at least move forward. Personnel can come in year 2 and year 3. Here's the other deal. This project is going to follow you and support you financially, so as long as funding is available, for the next 4 years. So the hope is every year we'll look at what you did the year prior and then figure out how much funding you need for year 2 deliverables. And then we will support you in that manner, so that by the time year 3 and year 4 come around, hopefully year 4, you got a shovel in the ground and you're going vertical. That's kind of like what the hope is. So I also want to share this quick PowerPoint with you, zoning and land use feasibility, because I mention it here, and I go through it quickly, and it says an in kind, and maybe some of you have no idea what that is. So I threw this thing together so that you'll have an idea of what we mean by this. So zoning and land use determines if affordable housing can be built on your property. We don't know that. So you've got to figure that out. Identifies rules, limits, and approvals needed, prevents costly mistakes early, and provides clarity before hiring architects and engineers. So this is one major deliverable for year one. Zoning tells you what the land can legally be used for, whether housing is permitted, how many units may be allowed, parking, height, setback requirements, whether variances or rezonings are needed. Physical site considerations, you got to make sure that you're not on a wetland or flood zone, that there aren't any steep slopes, road access and traffic flow, utility available, is there water, sewer, electric, and then easements of right of way. This 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 zoning feasibility gives you this information. Municipal approval pathways, planning board approval, you're going to need that. Zoning board of adjustment if use is not permitted. Redevelopment designation if applicable. Public hearing or community engagement. So that's why we're asking you that you're going to need to engage the public to garner support for your project moving forward. This is important because it ensures your project is realistic and allowable, guides discussion with partners and funders, avoids spending money on designs that can't be approved, helps determine financial feasibility. Now, the cost for this zoning land use feasibility runs anywhere between, on the low range, between 35 and 7,000, mid range between 7,000 and 15,000, high range between 15,000 and 30,000. Cost depends on complexity, location, and required approval. So we need to do this first before you can even move on to next year. Because if in this year we find out that you can't build on your site controlled property because due to one of the issues, um, um, wetlands, flood zones, steep slopes, limited road access, and it messes up traffic flow, limited access to water lines, sewer, electricity, easements, or right of way, then we need to know that in year one, whether we're going to support you in year two. So that's kind of it. You all have access to the application, so I'm gonna open this up to any Q&A, and I'll do the best I can to answer any and all of your questions. So if there's any questions, just unmute yourself and let it fly.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. The is the project, I guess, is it the project involves existing construction or new construction?
New,
New.
brand new. Because if you're already in existing construction, this planning grant does you no service at all. It doesn't work for you at all. We're looking for organizations that have never done this and that we can follow them for the next 4 years to get them to their manifest destiny. Reverend Tolbert, what's up?
Yes, sir. Thank you for this information. I just wanted to also state when you were sharing about the letters of determination, it also depends upon how long a organization has had their letter. So if it's beyond, I think it's last 15 years or so, their actual letter may not be available, but they would be in what they call a publication 78, in which they're listed amongst a lot of other organizations that are nonprofits. So I just wanted to kind of bring that out. So if someone is trying to obtain a copy, they may not find it on the site, but they can contact the IRS to ask them to send them a copy of a affirmation letter, which will service the same purpose.
Thanks a lot, Reverend. Thank you for that insight. TD, whoever TD is.
Yes, it's me. Thank you, Dr. Laporte. We're in Newark. We're the Visionaries with a Purpose. We are so ecstatic and happy that we just received our 501(c)(3).
Okay.
We met with you a little while back, and this is so new and very complex. But I have one or two questions. This project, Atlas, I'm understanding.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Before, and thank you. Before, I didn't mean to shut you down, but this Q&A is specifically on the Sustainable Development Planning Grant. Tomorrow's Q&A at 12 o'clock, and the link is on our website.
Okay.
I'll answer all those questions regarding our other grants. Okay.
Okay, I'm very motivated. I wanted to be in this also. So now that I heard about the housing, I was a little confused. I will see you tomorrow. I'll stay on board just to listen to the questions and answers, but
No
I'll
problem.
see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much.
All right, Reverend Lunick, and then Ronnie Burgess. Go ahead, Reverend Lunick, and you're muted. And you're still muted.
There we go. I'm
There we
sorry.
go.
I'm in my car in the middle of everything, but I stopped to do this for Pastor Khalil.
Okay.
So, how you doing? God bless you.
Bless you.
Because he's on a flight.
Okay.
So I just have two questions, and maybe this you'll give me a little bit of clarity.
Sure.
So the 501(c)(3) has to be in good standing, and it can't be in revoke status in order to apply.
Yeah.
That's my first question, right?
Okay.
And the organization absolutely needs its 501(c) status, correct?
So here's the deal. So if the House of Worship doesn't have a 501(c)(3), they don't necessarily have to get one to be part of the team that's applying. So let's say that the Reverend Lunick Church has underutilized property. They don't have a secular 501(c)(3). The governance structure doesn't want to apply for secular 501(c)(3). So then they need to partner with the Zainab Saeed CDC.
Got it.
And the Zainab Saeed CDC will have you as a partner because you're the one that has the site control of the underutilized property.
Right.
And the Zainab Saeed CDC, in partnership with you and in partnership with 5 other stakeholders, will submit the application, and then we will move forward that way.
Can you clarify underutilized property and land? So before you say that, because we do have the building, right, which is where we operate the church, and we have space to do daycare, etc. We thought, right, because we're sitting on 2 plots of land, and the church actually is sitting on both the plots of land, but the land that we thought was ours is not ours.
Oh, there you go.
But the person that has the land is willing to partner, collaborate with us as the church, right? The faith-based organization. So I guess we can have a conversation outside of this, right? But there is, it's a smaller piece of land behind. It's not enough to do what we're looking to do. So we wanted to merge it because it is attached. It's so close. His land is so close to ours. So we're thinking about doing a joint venture, right?
Okay.
So that's
so to answer that first question.
Yes.
This grant and this vision for this program is focusing on land owned outright by the House of Worship, not land owned by my man down the street who owns a mechanic shop and it lines up, butts up across our property. No, that's not what it's about. Now,
you can have
you can have conversations about how to acquire that land. So
that's what we're doing now.
So it falls under the
umbrella
of the umbrella and the ownership of the House of Worship, but and that can be part of the process. But the land that we're interested in is the land or the underutilized property. And underutilized property means it's just an empty lot, like nothing's going on.
Got it. I just wanted to be clear about that. Okay.
So your project would focus on that underutilized property.
Got it.
And then in year 2 and year 3, you know, one of your deliverables would be how do we acquire that property that butts against our property that would allow us to extend the project further. Okay.
Okay, you answer. Hey, Mr. Bill Hunter, how are you? God bless you.
Tina Adams. Go ahead, Tina. You're muted.
Got me.
There we go. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So I think you just answered my question. So we are a 501(c), the Cathedral Community Development Corporation, right?
Mhm.
Which is part of the overall cathedral, but we are the 501(c). We do have underutilized property, but there is already a house on that property.
Okay.
So I didn't know if we could still apply for this grant, even though
Find a piece.
there's a house.
Can you guys, hold on, Tina. Everybody else, can you mute yourselves, please, so that I can hear Tina's questions? Go ahead, Tina.
So we have underutilized property.
Mm-hmm.
There is already a house on that property, but the
Okay.
is underutilized. So I just heard you say like there can't be anything on that property on that lot, or can there be something on that lot and we could rebuild it and revitalize
Yeah.
and construct? Can we?
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. So long as you own the property, so long as the house of worship owns the property.
Yes.
And because, you know, sometimes it's cheaper to raise a building than to retrofit it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's cheaper to knock it down and build back up as opposed to working with what you have, because maybe the bones of the facility aren't good enough to move forward. So yeah, you can apply because you have the underutilized property and it's under the site control of the house of worship. And yeah, we can have that. You can apply, and then hopefully if you're funded, then we can have that conversation moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Dr. Loporte.
Oh,
Pastor
Ronnie, my
Ron
bad,
Burgess.
Ronnie. I'm so, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's
Go ahead.
okay. Pastor Ron Burgess from Newark Bible Fellowship Church.
Okay.
What if you had a permit? We have land. 15 years ago, they had an open permit to start the work, and they tore houses down, cleared the land and everything, but never continue with the work. Would that qualify still if we come under the grant for a new work?
Yeah, because that data that you've got for 15 years ago is probably obsolete now. A lot of
It
it.
is. It is.
And so yeah, you would be considered a new project.
Okay. We still have all the contractor drawing from the architect.
Yeah, well, we would have to figure out if those architectural renderings fall in line with what the city wants done today. It fell in line 15 years ago, but there
Yes,
could have
sir.
been a lot of zoning issues, a lot of things that happened in the city council between then and now that may make those renderings obsolete. But yeah, no, you can definitely apply.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other questions? No other questions? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, go ahead, Joseph.
How are you, sir?
Good.
I'm Joseph Moore from Atlantic County,
Uh-huh.
here in South Jersey. We started our CDC a couple of years ago. We're new, and we need assistance and guidance and everything that you just mentioned. Sorry, I came on late. I came about like 5 minutes after.
No problem.
What I needed, can I get a copy of that information that you just shared with us, or do I have to come up there
You mean
of the application?
it's on our website.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you go to a browser, any browser, and put in OFBI,
Mhm.
hit enter, our page link will show up, and you click the link, and then when you land on our homepage, on the top you'll see grant opportunities. You'll click grant opportunities, and then you'll see, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see links for grant guidelines, and then you'll see the Sustainable Development Grant Guideline there, and you can download it.
Excellent. And I did hear you say that there's a pro bono for attorneys for new work. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so on the application, there is limited, you can only spend the money in limited approved line items. And we're working with Kane University, School of Architecture, School of Business that will provide the renderings and the pro formas for housing development. And then we work with pro bono partnership that would assist you in identifying a real estate attorney that would do pro bono work for you.
Okay, now I do have an engineer here in Mays Landing of whom I worked with before.
Okay.
Can I still use him and
Yeah,
still
yeah,
receive
yeah,
that
yeah.
pro bono work?
Yeah, he can be part of your planning team.
Excellent, excellent. Is this the same seminar that was offered yesterday up there in Piscataway?
Nope, nope. That was a completely different organization, and we have nothing to do with them.
Okay, all right, great.
All right.
All right, you answered everything.
All right. Very good,
And
brother.
thank you everything for
I'm ho-
everything.
I'm hoping to see your application. Are there any other
Oh, you
questions?
will see it. Thank
Great.
you.
All right.
Have a
Are
good
there-
one.
All right.
Appreciate everything.
All right. Are there any other questions? This is what I like, man. 35 minutes in and out. It's recorded, and then you can, if you have nothing to do at 2 a.m, you could just throw this webinar on and rehear it again. If you have any questions that you may want, you can. I'm gonna put my cell phone number in the chat: 732-289-1896. Eddie Laporte's cell, and my email is edward.laporte@sos.nj.gov. Now, listen, before we sign off, I want to say this. You have everyone here and any potential grantees, you have my undivided attention between now and 2 weeks prior to the due date. So if you want to take my time hostage, if you want to have a meeting with your leadership team, if you need me to answer whatever questions, I can quickly do a Teams meeting. We could do it after work hours because some of your folks on your team, will have regular 9 to 5s. We could do it during regular work hours, 9 to 5. 2 weeks prior to the due date, you can't have that time. You cannot have that time because it's gonna be raucous in here with me and my staff trying to figure out how to get people access to applications, and I'm not gonna have the time to sit down with you for 45 minutes to an hour trying to rehash this, because if you haven't done anything 2 weeks prior to the application due date, you're not getting the application in. You're just not. Historically, that's my experience. All right. So like I said, from December 10th to 2 weeks prior to the due date, you can take my time hostage. 2 weeks prior to that, I'm gonna give you like 5-10 minutes.
Repeat your phone number, Ed, please. 289
732
732
289
Yes,
1896.
1896.
All
Excellent.
right.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, Mr. Laporte.
Yeah. Bill Hunter, you have a question?
Yes, sir. I'd like to know how you acquired all that gray hair since the last time we met.
Brother.
I know I have mine, and I was talking to Mr. Hobbs yesterday about you. Your name came up, but you still have that magnanimous smile.
Thank you, brother.
I will hit you up on your
Yeah,
cell
do
phone.
that. We should meet and have a conversation, Bill. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
And the gray hair is
Yeah.
an homage to my grandmother, who was Puerto Rican, and she was in the womb of her mother in the Middle Passage. And this is my way of saying thank you, Grandma.
Yeah, I understand. I got mine from my dad.
There you go. There you go. All right, everybody.
Take
So
care.
this is recorded.
Okay, well,
I'm going to put it on the
Great.
website in a couple of days. And if you have any questions, you can call me, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.